Photograph of the war in the West. These photographs are of Sherman at the sea, December 1864. After marching through Georgia for a month, Sherman stormed Fort McAllister on December 13, 1864. Detroit Derek took me to this wonderful place in Detroit. It's where they host the Theater Bazaar. We ran into David, Michigan, early 1900s. The 11,500 years old Sugar idol is the oldest known wooden sculpture in the world and may have stood more than 5 m high. It's now on display at the Sverdlovsk Regional Museum. The Supermarine Spitfire, the only British fighter to be manufactured before, during, and after the Second World War. Pilot prepare for Mission England 1940s. The first inauguration of Abraham Lincoln as the 16th President of the United States was held on Thursday, March 7, 1861, at the East Portico of the United States Capitol in Washington, D.C. Wing construction of a Junkers G-38, manufactured in Dessau. The Junkers G.38 was a large German four-engine transport aircraft which first flew in 1929. Was Hitler's food taster. Margot Wolk tells for the first time how she was forced to eat the Führer's vegetarian meals to make sure they weren't poisoned. Knife sharpeners in Thiers, France 1902. They laid down to keep away the grinding dust from getting in their eyes/mouth as they sharpened cutlery. They were allowed to take their dogs with them. In 1938 London, a curious story unfolded when a mailman was allowed to deliver deceased animals through the postal service. The landlord's game was adopted by some university professors as a teaching tool, and the game gained a following in the Mid-Atlantic states. Players would make their own handcrafted boards. In 1901, medical students were immersed in a world of rigorous training and groundbreaking discoveries, though the field of medicine was still evolving. The curriculum focused on anatomy, physiology. View of first house built in Dodge City. The sod building has a roof, window openings and a door. The surrounding landscape is barren. Kansas 1872. Thora Yeager with slabs of bacon tied to her feet standing in a giant skillet holding an enormous wooden spatula in attempt to create the world's largest omelet with 7,200 eggs. Washington, July 24, 1931. Marie Curie at the wheel of one her mobile X-ray machines, dubbed Les Petites Curies. To help in the war effort, Curie learned how to drive and how to operate X-ray equipment. In the 1930s, craftsmen constructing wooden dugout canoes followed centuries-old traditions, creating these water vessels with skill and precision, using a single, large tree trunk. The earliest known photo of men drinking beer presented by Drinking and Writing at Neo-Futurists. This humorous farce gone awry takes place in Scotland's past and America's present. 8 Native American long canoes racing on the open water at the Coupeville Native American Water Festival, Coupeville, Washington, approximately 1929 to 1932. Pocojunkeries were present in all classes of society. They included both free house owners and farmhands. The house owners were often the gang's leaders. In the 19th century, USS Holland, SS-1, was de eerste moderne onderzeeër in dienst van de Amerikaanse Marine. De onderzeeboot was in feet de Holland 6 onderzeeboot die John Philip Holland Torpedo Boat Company. Most battle injuries were caused by small arms fire or sword cuts. Facial injuries were often of little concern to survivors who were deemed lucky enough to have escaped with their lives. Ghosts of the coal mine. These horses or pit ponies were deprived of experiencing the sunlight and fresh air. Instead they lived in darkness. Underground horse and miners' labor inside mine. France 1970. Vintage photo from 1910 capturing a charming moment in everyday life. A milkman's horse, standing patiently outside a house, with a milk crate attached to its side. In a circa 1890 photo of a saloon in Manitowoc, Wisconsin, an unusual scene unfolds. A child-sized beer mug sits on the bar, highlighting the curious, often contradictory social norms of the time.